What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky P here, back with all of the news after week number 1 of the regular season. The Raiders lost their opening game to the New York Jets 6-30. There's really no good spin I can put on that. But, you know, we kind of expected this coming into this season. We're not really a good team as of now, and this entire season is pretty much going to be devoted into developing our younger players. And come the offseason, we're going to change the roster around a lot and hopefully be in a better position to compete next year with a higher draft pick and things like that. So let's go ahead and start working on developing some of the young guys that we have on our team here. Again, it's all going to be about giving them some XP. Cornerback, you know, we're definitely going to go to McGill and Hayden on this one and get them some extra experience there. The more I can do that, the quicker they're going to grow into better players, and that's going to be, you know, I expect them to be key players for me next season, and that's what we're working towards right now. We kind of inherited a team we're not too happy with, and so the best bet for us is to just find the players that we want to keep around and make sure to work with them and help them grow into better players. And that's one thing I really like about this Madden, is the fact that you can still develop somebody if they're on the bench. Like I'm going to be doing Derek Carr next here. And that's just a huge advantage to have. You know, I don't have to throw him into the Wolves, especially with confidence playing such a huge factor in this year's game. You know, if he goes in there and throws some interceptions, his confidence drops all of a sudden. You know, it's a lot more difficult to develop a player whose confidence is down. And I would assume that that's worked into the game. That hadn't been confirmed to me, but you know, I would imagine that's definitely going to play a factor. So moving forward here. Look at this, with only 17 games on the schedule. Come on, Madden. Really? 17 games? Come on, you're better than that. So our next game is going to be against the Texans, as you can see here. Choose stadium. All right, here we go. We are picking our stadium for Los Angeles, and it's going to be interesting because obviously we're going to go with a deluxe stadium. Now, in owner mode, it is a lot more difficult to make money this time around, so I really got to be careful with what I'm choosing here, because if I go under, all of a sudden, you know, the series is over. I got to make sure, especially, you know, with us losing this year, winning and losing is everything, and it's going to be even more important in LA where they're fair weather fans. So it's going to be interesting. I definitely got to make a wise decision here. Now, if you're looking at it, see, and weekly cost, man, that concerns me. If I'm not there, I'm losing $2 million a year if I pick the deluxe futuristic stadium, which is kind of what I want to roll with. However, it looks like there's more money to be made with deluxe traditional stadium. They have more seating capacity and more suites. So there's definitely more money, and it's cheaper. So all the signs are pointing to picking the deluxe traditional stadium. That being said, it's LA. LA is all about, you know, being flashy and stuff like that, glitz and glamour, and the deluxe futuristic stadium is definitely a little bit more glamorous. So do I want to go with the city personality, or do I want to go with the logical choice? This one's kind of interesting, but they don't really have the seating capacity or the suites that the other two offer, and again, I think that's going to be important. See, now, if I were going to any other city, I feel like this is obviously the best choice. But let's roll the dice. You know, I have confidence in our team. I have confidence with where we're going to be next year. I think we're going to be a much better team. And I think we'll start piling together wins. I think the money's going to be coming in regardless. So let's go ahead and go with this. It's LA. It's all glitz and glamour, guys. We have to fit in with the city's personality as well. So it's going to be interesting. It's a risk, but it's a risk I'm going to take, and we'll see if it pays off for us. So, yeah, there we go with that. We have our stadium picked, and that is it for our team there, our new team in LA next season. I believe we've done all the options there. Some subscribers said they want to see me do this. Now, doing all this on camera, it's really not much to watch. Honestly, for defensive players, the only thing I am worrying about right now is awareness. Like, I can tell you now, you're wondering what I'm doing. I promise you, I am just doing nothing but awareness for defensive players, because that's such a key trait, especially if I'm not going to be controlling them. I'm going to need them to be on their A game. You know, I've been going back and forth between awareness and accuracy with Derek Carr, but that awareness is so low. I need to pick it up a little bit, and I have a feeling, like, because I knew in the previous Madden I'd hit a button and sometimes he would throw it to a different receiver, and I think awareness plays a factor into that. So I definitely need to get his awareness up, and as his awareness goes up, his overall is going to go up. Not that that makes too much of a difference, but I will need to work on all this later, obviously. So I'll show you those two players just to kind of give you guys an idea. But again, if they're a defender, I promise you right now, I'm just focusing on awareness until I get all of that up. Can't have any lapses in the defense or anything like that. So anyway, yeah, moving forward, let's go ahead and look at the standings after the first week. Actually, a better way of doing this might be to go to schedule. Let's go to schedule for that. Schedule. All right. League schedule. And I'm in the negative right now, so I can't sign a player, unfortunately. So let's go back to week 1. So, the Packers beat the Seahawks. The defending Super Bowl champions fell early into the season there. Against the Packers, the team we beat, which is pretty cool. Of course, we lost to the Seahawks, but whatever. In a big division rivalry game, the Saints beat the Falcons by 10 points. So, that's cool to see. The Vikings beat the Rams. That's a little bit shocking. Nothing against the Vikings or anything. I just think the Rams are going to be a pretty good team. Of course, that's kind of to be expected. The Steelers whooped up on the Browns 20-3. Sorry, Browns fans. I didn't mean that as an insult. I'm just saying, you know. The Jaguars beating the Eagles. Wow, 28-23. That's pretty cool. Jets take. Oh yeah, we know that one. Obviously, the Jets beating us 30-6. Bengals winning 31-15 over the Ravens. All right, so this could be the Bengals' year, guys. I like the Bengals a lot. I think they're going to be a pretty good team, and you know, they just need to get over that last little hump, and beating a division rival like that, definitely a good way to do it, especially on the road. The Bears beat the Bills 29-11. Redskins beating the Texans 15-7. So the Texans, the team we're about to play, got a loss in their first week, so makes me feel a little bit better. They were at home for that as well. The Titans, oh man, the Chiefs whooped up on the Titans 51-10. Patriots beating Miami 24-22. The Bucks beating the Panthers 12-10. The 49ers getting a win 20-3 over the Cowboys. I always like seeing that. The Broncos winning 27-16 over Peyton Manning's former team. All right. The Colts, that's pretty interesting. The Lions beating the Giants 24-10. And the Chargers beating the Cardinals 24-21. So we'll get into all the stats and stuff like that a little bit later. I want to kind of let some players build up some stats before we go look at that. We can look at the weekly awards, though. Let's check that out, see who's doing good. And Russell Wilson, even though the Seahawks lost, he ended up getting the NFC Offensive Player of the Week with only 185 yards and 2 touchdowns. That's really interesting. He had 47 rushing, but I definitely would have thought somebody would have greater stats than that, especially coming from a winning team or something like that. Campbell is going to get the Defensive Player of the Week with 3 sacks and 10 tackles. Trevathan, I think I said that right. I don't know. Sometimes I'll butcher a name. I apologize when I do. 2 sacks to go with 13 tackles. And Tom Brady, 352 yards and 3 touchdowns. Now, see, I can understand that a lot more than 185 and 2. But anyway, that'll be it for the players of the week. Again, I'm going to get into the stats and everything going on around the league. I'm just going to kind of wait for those to build up a little bit. Let's see if there is a trade or anything like that. Doesn't look like it. No. Anyway, I guess I can hit the trade option, can't I? Yeah. Let's do that. All right. Wait, nope. NFL, and then traded. Nope. The last one was our trade with the Jaguars. So yeah. All right. Anyway, last but not least, let's go work on the sliders a little bit. I really wasn't the sliders for that last game weren't all that bad. I definitely need to change some things around, though. Quarterback accuracy, I might move this up a little bit. There were definitely some wild throws by Schaub there, and a few weird drops, but mostly that James Jones drop is the one sticking out to me. Let's see, everything else. Can I do? No. All right, so run blocking, I got to move this down for the computer. I mean, they ran for over 200 yards on me, and they have a terrible offensive line. So if I go up against a good offensive line, I'm expecting it to be a lot worse. So I'm going to move that down to 60. If I need to do that more in the future, I will not hesitate to do so. But that was a little bit brutal there. Passing down the field was pretty difficult, so I'm going to move this to 90 and pass coverage to 90. If that's too much, again, I can just adjust it next week, but I could not find open receivers down the field to save my life. And I do want to kind of keep it as realistic as possible while, you know, understanding that as the Raiders, I'm still likely to lose a lot, if you know what I mean. So, one last thing is the face mask. There was way too many face mask calls, so let's move this down to 45 and see how that does. Intentional grounding, I'm moving up to 100. I've never really seen it called in this game before, and there's definitely been some times I thought it could have been. So, we'll do that to start. And that should be it for this video, guys. So, thank you so much for tuning in. We'll definitely get more into the stats in the future. I promise you all that. 184 rushing yards for Chris Johnson, man. Brandon LaFell, 172. I like LaFell a lot. That should be it for this episode, though, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is Sneaky P, and I will see you next week as we take on the Houston Texans. Later, guys.